Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Best Automatic. I'm your host, Captain Pervert.
And I'm your host, Captain Gorgeous.
And why am I a character of Last of the Summer Wine? Anyhow, I'm your host, Captain, know-it-all. Yeah, well, we class him as Captain Slow because of a popular car program now and again, don't we? Yeah, well, he's from, I should be like Clarkson because he's from Doncaster.
No, you son, I'm the good-looking one. I should be like Clarkson because I'm the main guy. No, you have to be the lad from Bristol because he's slow-minded, Captain Slow.
No, he's not.
Well, yeah, but you are.
Fair enough then. Now, the show is about cartoons. Why are we on about cartoons? Well, for our low budget... Wow, don't you be criticising that it's cheap, because if you know GTA 5, this old classic game, that you knew things were expensive. I mean, there's a hint about shark cards and all that lot, but you seen this little strange little geezer in the leather Oclimophobe, alright, as known as the not so tame racing driver, the Gimp, and it's gone out to buy one of the most famous vehicles of the famous character, as we all know, Stephen Ogg. He's more famous for advertising for Old Spice. Don't be interrupting me! Well, you interrupted me.
Yeah, but we all know it's a sex symbol.
Yeah, the character's rather iconic, and I had no idea. I mean, I'm not a gamer, I don't play video games, I never did. I didn't even know what the project was. I just thought, for me, the opportunity to be a cartoon character, because they said, it's going to be motion capture, and it was going to be our likeness, so it's going to look like me. And I thought to be a cartoon character was cool. Video game I don't care about, I don't know about. So I was just like, oh wow. Like I get to be a cartoon, like that for me was the appeal. And then of course, reading it's a fun, crazy character. So who wouldn't want to play that kind of character? So that was, I didn't even know about the video game world when we were shooting it, even though we were in a studio with the posters. Because, it was a code name, so we weren't supposed to know what it was. And Ned and Solo, who play Franklin and Michael, they of course were like, oh man, because they're gamers. They're like, this is the news. And even at that point I said, I don't even know what that is. I was never into that world. I still haven't really played the game. I've tried it. It's and it's crazy that I guess 5 years it's been now. I don't understand why people care. It's cool, but I don't get the. I understand the sort of how this character has become iconic. I do get that, but I'm always like, I'm amazed by it. And surprised. Pleasantly surprised. It's not a bad thing, because I'm proud of it. But it's like, wow, people still... But I get it, and people spend a lot of, unlike TV, movies, I get the amount of time people spend hearing my voice, playing my likeness. It's a different attachment, because people spend it now years, months, years playing this, hearing me. So the connection with people is a lot deeper, because they feel like they know you, even though they don't. So, yeah, it's a fun character. It's very, very lucky to play. It was fun. Thank you very much.
So you know Trevor Phillips track, the Kenneth Brody. It came round about November the 2013, the Beach Bum update. That's when we could buy it for $25,000, right, dollars, and you still can. And so technically, it's not bad for a GTA vehicle. It's quite good instead of paying millions. But we all know what vehicle it's based on. From the Kaiser Jeep M715 or the Series 3 Land Rover or the Defender. But you can tell there's little bits of mixture of both. But yeah, it's the Kaiser Jeep. I was gonna say that, or what? It's the bloody know-it-all.
Anyhow, you didn't say it. That vehicle looks like the Kennish Catchgo.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sore subject, that, isn't it? Fuck it, know-it-all. Yeah, it's the one I got brutally murdered in, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I told you, everybody, that it's a different shade of red.
Yeah, because it's got other people's blood on it, ain't it?
No.
Actually, the vehicle was based on a concept, the Jeep Crew Chief 715. So it is practically that old Jeep, but it's a concept one, and yeah, it's made to look like it, and it's a lot better than maybe this cheaper version of Trevor's. But you know, for $25, it's a vehicle, and but for its off-roading capability, I think our not so tame racing driver didn't like it. He only took it so far, and it went up a banking, and it couldn't even handle that. It has a terrible thing to steering and stuff and that. Oh, you're just rambling on, aren't you? I mean, the gimp don't even bloody speak, so why would you know all that information? By watching it.
Yeah.
But you can shut piping up, alright, Captain Gorgeous, or what? Yeah, but it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, seeing the game not really handling it well. I mean, look at it, it's just sliding all over the place, and it drives, but if you go off-roading with it, I mean, obviously, if you've done story mode, I mean, you'll know. Yeah, well, it's been a long time that anybody does story mode and all that, look.
Yeah, but you can tell it does look like a Land Rover, even from the back of it, you know, them little round lights and that.
Yeah, that's right. So the only best way we're going to find out how really good that vehicle is going on the best automatic test track.
Yeah, that's right.
But first, our gimp's got to modify it before he even does anything yet. Well, hopefully he's done a good job. Well, yeah, I hope so myself. So you all know the rules of our best automatic test track. Our gimp is definitely going to try to be a fastest lap around the test track. But unfortunately, I don't think this vehicle is going to be up to match. I mean, the price tag gives it away, but I mean, hopefully, you know, it does well. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, we've driven this vehicle, all of us, what did the story mode with Trevor Phillips, and this vehicle always seemed to not steer when how fast you could go. It always seemed to not even understeer. It just went off in a straight line, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Can you remember that long mission? It was a mission where he's got his little mate in the back, and he's looking for, he's going to the city, and he's looking for Michael or something. He finds out Michael's alive, and I didn't bother using his truck because it just seemed to take forever.
Yeah, so actually technically it's going around the track, but it looks promising, but look, you can hear it actually practically dying. It's only going up a hill, and it's meant to be an off-roader, and the engine's weak on it, isn't it? I bet that's even maxed out with turbos. Yeah, so we'll have to see how that's the score. So 118. You can't even be bothered putting that on the scoreboard. It's that slow. Well, what do you expect for $25,000? Well, the gimp's having a bit of a merry way. Obviously, it's happy because it's won itself.
Well, what's it going to be like with another online player at level 33?
Yeah, a low ranker. But we know the reputation of our gimp is not so tame racing driver.
Look, the dirty, cheating, thing. I mean, you got to understand that online player, yeah, push that gimp out the way. But it is in a dune buggy. But yeah, driving the kind of roadie, well, yeah, we're sort of criticising it. Because, yeah, that's one silly thing it does. It does sort of like skid out of control a little bit when it's going really slow and that.
Yeah, that's right. But this online play is sort of like, you know, giving it what for, but it keeps managing to try to keep up, but it still looks slow. I think this is its Achilles heel when it comes up to the steep point of the hill. I mean, that's one thing about that vehicle. Oh, whoa, the gimp, yeah! The gimp's in the lead. But don't forget his catch-up on you can tell. I mean, that bit, look how the dirty cheat he is. I mean, blocking that online player. I mean, yeah, good on you. I mean, yeah, because that, like you said, the vehicle's so slow going up that steep lane. I mean, imagine going on without doing that. Oh, that would be pathetic. I mean, it was a lot slower. So, they carried on this online player, because you all know it's name and shame, and we're going to be shaming the gimp because the gimp's lost. So that online player is going to be happy as Larry, showing up to his mate maybe online and say that I have beaten that not so tenuous best automatic show. I mean, it's actually taking up the gimp on with a bike. I mean, the bike's more agile. I mean, how the skill that not doing. I mean, imagine that kind of crowded knocks that online player off. But that's it. Naturally, wow. The gimp's managed to. The gimp's managed to mess up though. Usually does. Well, yeah, it still hasn't improved. How many times it's been on the test track, but it still hasn't improved itself. I mean, there's all these different vehicles with it, and you'd be thinking it'd be so good right there, but you know, it's all Tommy Gibson leaders when you go around that bend. Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I won't actually say it's a really good vehicle, but for the price, what do you expect?
I mean, this is the problem. If you want to go off-roading with a vehicle, and you want to go like something like Mount Chiliad, will make price. So, the moment of truth, obviously that online player was going to beat the game. It's the same sort of time again. That looked actually slower, but you know, but name and shame. So there you are. Whoever you are, you managed to beat the game and you are on the show. So it's name and shame.
So why did Rockstar Games give Trevor Phillips such a rubbish vehicle?
Maybe they got the inspiration from that movie, Hired to Kill. Well, yeah, but we all know where we went to see that movie because you picked that movie, didn't you? Yeah, but there's some ideas, isn't there? What ideas? For you to perv on women? No, there's got vehicles in it. Yeah, but you wouldn't class it as a petrolhead movie, really, would you? But it was nice to get Captain Gorgeous out to see a movie because his mum don't let him actually see any.
Yeah, it was very nice of you fellas for that. And it was a nice experience.
Oh, that was nice of you. I mean, the movie does have Land Rovers in it. Quite a few, well, a couple at least. So, yeah. It's got some very big actors in it as well, as I explained.
Brian Thompson. What other TVs or movies do they remember him in? Terminator, the first one, where Arnold Schwarzenegger rips his heart out. Not Bill Paxton, you know, but there's other famous ones like Fright Night 2 and other movies like Mortal Kombat 2, you know, the most popular one with Sylvester Stallone. In Cobra, he was the main villain, he was the slasher, you know, and all that lot. But he's been in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know, season 1 he was a vampire. Season 2 he played this mysterious creature called the Judge and gets blown up by a bazooka. X-Files, Star Trek. The guy has got a very familiar voice, and obviously with his face, you can't miss it. You're always going to recognise, you know, Brian Thompson, whatever he's in. But this movie, as we all know, he is actually the main star. And you may think, you know, later on in the movie, he wears a tuxedo and all that lot, you'd be thinking, when he's going infiltrating, spying and sneaking into people's offices and looking through all their personal stuff. It's like a rip-off of James Bond. Maybe he could have promoted himself as James Bond. But this film, well, is hired to kill. Like the title says, it gives it all away. Especially the title, it does. So, what happens in the movie? Well, as we all know, that I'm not going to be going saying who's directed what or who's directed music or anything, because you can read it on the screen. Because it's one of them movies what starts off as it's old-fashioned, just titles coming up on a black background, and there's nothing from behind it showing you, you know, any images or anything. It's just in your face, there to read, and then the film starts. And it's quite odd and strange. At first, when I wanted to see the film, I mean, the trailer, as we all seen, that it gives you the impression of, to me, it started off like a comedy. You know, you see this bit, a phone ringing, he shoots it, man appears and tells him more or less, yeah, he's going on a mission. So this is the bit of the plot of the film where it's going to tell us the plot of his mission, and he has to infiltrate to be a fashion designer or photographer, or technically the typical stereotype for the late 80s to the beginning 90s, that he has to be a bit, you know, a bit like camp, or most people may think of being homosexual, gay or something, but it's just a typical stereotype that he's meant to be because you're in this profession of with models and all that lot, that you've got to be this way out. Me babbling on about this, giving so much about the movie away, yes, because it is very bizarre, because you won't think of always acting with Brian Thompson that he would have played a type of this part, but we all know it's got another famous actor, as we've just seen, and but yeah, we've got Oliver Reed. Maybe there's been a lot of influence in this movie, so yeah.
Yeah, we saw plenty of trailers in the cinema, but not the trailer for this movie. But there's some other big actors in it you explain about, don't you? Oh yeah.
George Kennedy, big famous actor, well known, starting off in westerns, and then the most popular ones, them 70s disaster movies, mostly, yeah, the airport movies. But I love the Concorde one, especially when he opens a sliding window and sticks his hand out with a flare gun to shoot at a heat-seeking missile. If you haven't seen it, it's very funny, very good. But like this movie is very interesting because he's in this, because he wasn't just a fuddy-duddy wanting actors what starred like a Cool Man Luke and he'd win an Oscar. I mean, he was in Thunder and Lightfoot. He played a hard man bank robber and get eaten by Doberman pinchers. He played a lot of roles, like in Dallas, but a lot of TV movies as well. A lot of them. But yes, he starred in quite a lot of movies. Sadly, he died just at nearly the age of 90 back in 2016, I think. Hopefully I'm right, but yeah. So, yeah, all this work he did, yeah, he's in this movie. One of the big actors in it, completely, yeah.
You got the title wrong on that movie. It's Thunderbolt and like that. Yeah, establish that now.
So, the first woman they get out of the prison, because we all mentioned the Dirty Dozen, that they go to Istanbul, Turkey, and you see the typical stereotype of prisoners in prison in Turkey, that they all arm wrestle, and they get these nice visits in the prison yard, and
they can't stay forever. When they leave,
she gets offered, you get released. The prison officer actually threatens to do this to her certain body parts.
come to my room and I'll put out my cigarette on your nipples.
Well, yeah, it's easy going there, and they get as we've seen a trailer, she's a cigar chewing demolition expert. Then we go to St. Quentin, California.
So you might got the idea that that's like GTA with sticky bombs and it's a demolition expert. But what is the movie about? Well, it's based on a 1967 movie, innit, called The Dirty Dozen. It's a bit like that. And it's like involving getting prisoners to do a dangerous mission, and if they do it, they get released and have a lovely life, being free. But first they have to do a suicide mission, don't they? And they all died, don't they, near enough? Yeah, thanks for spoiling it.
So they finalise everything with computers, and yeah, Brian more or less puts himself in the role of the, he says this.
You want me to be some
Yeah,
faggot designer?
he said it.
Faggot. Yeah.
So, as we all know, that he's taking on the deal. Well, he's been roped in to take the deal because, you know, George Kennedy isn't having it, you know. So, there's a bit of a sarcastic joke where he says, drive to it. And then we get footage of the Land Rover driving. And then it's with these two ladies. Now, they have more or less been offered to him. One he's worked with, and one knows the area where they're going to invade. Because I haven't really picked up on what country it actually is. We all know it's a little small country that everybody likes to wipe their bottoms with, according to, you know, this.
The country we're talking about is tiny and insignificant.
Very interesting.
I've heard people on the Senate call it a shithouse, justifiably so. A number of countries, ours included, have washed their rear ends there on occasion.
Yeah, but the idea of Rockstar Games might have got the idea for our online players, you know, that they don't speak and they're mute, might have got the inspiration from this movie.
So, we get our knife expert, and she's a mute, and they explain her background.
How good is she?
Nobody's better with a blade. Last year, 3 Soviet soldiers beat her parents to death. And they raped her, shot her, and left her for dead.
And it looks like she's obviously in a mental home or whatever, you know, in one of them facilities. And then the next lady is obviously, well, she's in the fashion thing. And she's been blackmailed to do the job.
Now, I could be wrong, but I believe it was Rio, September 87. New face, dialogue coach, and a clean American accent, and a new identity.
How much do you want?
I'm a pushover. I'll settle for your life. We need you for a job, that's all.
So, they're at the dinner table, and he's discussing about how much money and all that lot. And he comes out with this
I
famous
hope to God that when the time
classic
comes and I need
line.
those skills, you don't let me down. If you do, you won't be coming back. I'm your life insurance. I'm also holding your money, because ladies, this job is COD. And one more thing, I don't like working with women.
So we're going to get a homage of, you know, 'cause it is a 1989 movie, not a 90s movie, but 80s, so it's an 80s movie. So you get a homage of them all training, and it's all typical, shooting machine guns, going under machine gun fire, you know, doing press-ups, applying lipstick on, how to fasten a tie. You know, it is covert, proper, secret mission. I mean, it is. Oh, and this goes on for quite a while, but you know, it speeds the movie up for us to, you know, yeah, they're all got trained up, and it's straight away into the action of their mission.
So you'd be thinking Rockstar Games, where did you get the idea for Trevor's trap? It could have been this movie, because he takes his Land Rover to the mission, Danny, as it resprayed the net.
So after the homage, we've putting Brill cream on. Well, we get somebody else to do that for him. But yeah, and then we get our phone call. He don't shoot the phone this time, but yeah, the mission
Good morning.
starts in a
Ready?
weird place called Cyprus. We see images of the, you know, dangerous wildlife like pigeons. I mean, you know, dangerous. But we get a few cars skinning about, and then we get this scene where a person getting shot in a stunt double dummy. It looked like, yeah, I think it was a dummy. So, that's all we get. So we're wondering, what was that about? Well, you'd be thinking, they're going to make some contacts over there, and they've been sussed and figured out. Maybe they've been assassinated, and you're all thinking, oh no, the mission isn't going that smoothly, is it already?
So, as you can gather, it's a group of military ladies going on a mission with one man.
So we see some footage of Cyprus with dangerous wildlife, pigeons, and then a couple of cars come screeching to a halt, shoot a guy, we see a dummy fall to its death, but it's a dummy. Oh, okay.
I mean, the idea of that little scene with the dummy was it might be some contact, but we'll get educated about later on with the ladies about orgasms. Women don't really talk like that.
So they're there, and we get footage of them, all the ladies at a swimming pool, and you hear this cattiness of argument on about orgasms.
You know what I think? I think you're a frigid bitch who's probably never had an orgasm in her life.
Honey, you wouldn't know an orgasm if it landed in your face.
Ladies, you're behaving like trashy tarts in a hair salon.
How about you, Daph? How would you rate Ryan?
I'm afraid I don't know him that well.
Well, come on,
Yes.
fess up. I mean, you must have had at least one quickie with him, right? Why else would he have brought you along if you weren't really good at quickies?
Very rude, maybe typical stereotype of the late 80s to the early 90s, that all a group of ladies of about half a dozen are always going to be catty against each other. So they're on a mission, and they are having their whining and dining undercover, and Oliver Reeve drops a big one. His girlfriend is whispering sweet nothings in his ear. No, she's actually asking, she is a model herself, and she wants to join the team. So she's in the group of them, and they have to be very cautious to operate round her and all that lot. But there's been no contact, and lucky enough, Brian Thompson puts his James Bond's outfit on. Can't go and blur it. Brian Thompson is more or less looking like James Bond, and he goes on his mission to go snooping. And we get this lovely shot of him sneaking about in his tuxedo. But he's been followed by main security and the extra model. And they actually get him and catch him snooping in the office. But spoiler alert, this happens. She is the contact he's been waiting for. So all that tail, the dummy falling and all that lot, who cares about that person? We'll just mess leg.
It's like Captain Gorgeous got misled, didn't he? He didn't understand that bit when we were talking about James Bond and that. Yeah, I'm quite surprised, Captain Gorgeous. You haven't seen a James Bond movie at all.
No, I haven't. And don't be rubbing it in. I'm sick of that Captain Pervert rubbing it in about because my mum won't let me allowed to watch James Bond. I don't know who the person is. I keep telling you that.
Yeah, but we're going to cinema. Maybe you should check out a James Bond movie.
I was the first to look.
You're Thomas's contact?
I was told you were a professional.
So you get all that as he explains all that. Well, we've got our plot now. It's going now. They're all allied up, and we're expecting one of these ladies is going to mess this mission up, aren't they? Or there's something a bit suspicious about one of them, maybe. More spoilers.
Contact has been exposed, and bleeding Captain Gorgeous still don't know what a tuxedo actually means when we mean Bond.
Alright, don't be rubbing it in.
So now they know their contact is. So you'll be thinking, where will the contact take them? To the freedom fighters and all that lot? No, they take them to a fortune teller. But obviously it makes sense. And they discuss the plan of actually thinking, well, they're all models. You know, we need a nice photogenic place to take photographs. So ask where to, go where we can meet the resistance, and they all get escorted by the guards and stuff. And yeah, it ain't making sense now, is it?
Well, I'm not sure that that will be sufficient.
You're a bit confused there, Captain Know-It-All, explaining all that. Well, yeah, it's not that complicated, but it is a bit bizarre, isn't it? Well, yeah, but, it could be worse off that Captain Gorgeous didn't actually understand quite most of it.
Look, because I don't know anything about James Bond doesn't mean I don't know that much about movies and all that lot.
There's nothing to do with James Bond, really, this movie. It's just the guy wears a tuxedo. He definitely needs to see a Bond movie.
So the character Oliver Reed is a little bit suspicious on our character Brian. Yes. So what he does is actually get his girlfriend and starts doing his typical Oliver Reed, talking about ladies, and this is how he does it. Well, I have to censor some of it because there's nudity, as Oliver Reed actually exposes her breasts to expose our character. Is he gay? Well, this is where you get the famous trailer bit where he actually kisses Oliver Reed. Very, funny really. So, they're off on their mission now. They're off to see their resistance.
Well, wait on, you're leaving a lot out. I mean, don't forget, there's certain people will get killed, and you've missed that bit out before we get into the action. Oh yeah, I have, haven't I?
So they're on their way on another Land Rover, and as he explains about their escort is the professional killers. Ooh. And we find out how good they are when they all go to the caves and they're taking photographs, and the ladies start trying to kill them all, and we find out that one guy survives and he kills our famous blonde lady, and he's a professional soldier. He just starts shooting randomly at things and runs out of bullets, and well, he's a professional soldier, he gets killed. Not that professional, is he? So it drags on a little bit.
Well, go back a bit, you're still missing bits there. I mean, there's loads of information you're leaving out.
So he's a professional soldier, and he runs out of bullets. I mean, that's how good he is. Gets killed, but obviously we've got this long scene where they manage to dig a grave, bury the blonde girl, and that's it. But back in the hotel.
Hello?
Back in the hotel, one of our characters gets a mysterious phone call in her room, and she mysteriously goes out of her room to a payphone, and this is where we get the knife thrower, what is mute, and she's like looking at her, like we get the impression, can she lip read? But not. Stop going blurry! So one of the characters gets a phone call in the hotel room, and she goes wandering out of the hotel into a payphone, and she gets followed by a couple of girls. Most of the one what's mute, what's quiet, and she's like gives you that hint that she can do lip reading, and but nothing really happens about it really, nothing at all. But we are speculating there's something suspicious about this lady.
This is Miss Wells.
And she was brought
Her
on
mother
this
was the
mission.
cultural attaché.
Whoa, you were getting a little bit mardy at your camera because it went a little bit out of focus, didn't you? Yeah, I know.
So after they dispose all the guards, they go through the funeral of Sheila. Then they get to the rebels, but they've been planting landmines. So we have a scene where they walk into a landmine field. The character, the mute girl, Katrina, steps on a landmine, but don't worry, she gets saved by the other guy. Then this happens.
That was stupid! Piece of pie. Piece of cake, schmuck. You're lucky that fuse went out, lady. You'd be hamburger right now.
Oh, Jesus, Ryan, give him a break. He's a brave guy.
Fuck brave.
So they get to the rebel base, and it's just a few tents, and you're watching them cooking a bit of some chicken or something.
Hey,
And
what did you
they have
expect?
this awful argument.
I'm a hired hand, that's all. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know.
Some of us are paid to fight other people's wars. Some of us are paid to sleep with pigs like Michael Bardos.
He's more or less jesters. You know, he's only there to be hired to do
Light to her.
the job. You know.
We're all whores, Miss Mary. We just sell it in different ways.
She's
I
like
love this
into
country.
something else.
You have
and
no
it's
one.
like,
You have nothing.
do this.
Nobody
Get
gets.
some sleep.
I'm not tired.
Pump iron, get tired, get some sleep.
So you're a cynic. What else?
Lady, you getting that?
And then all of a sudden he decides to knock everything over and rip her clothes off, and gets a knife and starts. And you get this. Oh. And then you get like hinting that she's wanting something, and he just says, "Jess is this."
Get some sleep.
I'm not tired.
Pump iron, get tired, get some
To
sleep.
help her get to sleep. But then all of a sudden you get this weird rape scene where all I focused was watching drips of sweat dripping off his nose and splashing in her face or whatever it's going. Anyway, all that happens, and Now they're moving on to the mission. The mission, they are off to save that guy to get the evolution going.
Yeah, that's right. I was a bit curious on that rope scene. There's this big man sweat on the end of his nose, and I was just waiting for it to, like, you know, splash in her eye, and she would start screaming even more. But it didn't happen. But it was strange, that scene.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I mean, it was right weird, him getting a knife out and stabbing her clothes and all that lot.
Well, yeah, but well, it happened in the movie, didn't it?
So George Kennedy is actually old technology they use. They actually send a fax to our, you know, Oliver Reed, and he knows who he is. So he is the main security, and the best defense they've got is like bringing an entire army to where they are, but it seems like the army they've got is just one helicopter and a couple of guys at the edge, and that's what they send. So we see them breaking into this compound. Now this compound we already mentioned that, but they went through the plans when they saw the fortune teller, and they had the model, and it was a piece of cake and all that lot to break in. Anyway, we're seeing the mission finally happen, and you can tell it's a low budget movie because they had enough money to chop the grate, but not actually cutting into a padlock. That bit's sort of like, you see it nearly getting cut, and then it's cut. It's, you know, it's open. Sorry, yeah.
You are having a hard time explaining this bloody movie, especially it's a low budget movie, aren't you?
As we know, Oliver Reeve mentions that the old country are very habited to have a fiesta between 2 o'clock up to 5 o'clock. That means his soldiers do as well, but they are somewhat a stay on guard, just a few, but most of them are all having a fiesta. As we see when they get off the lorry, they've got the sleeping bags and all that lot. What makes their mission quite easy? For somebody to go around with a cigar and planting explosives. But we're going to see some stunts finally, some more stunts, explosions, and all the action's going to start kicking off, and yes, and we might see what happens in this cover as well, yes, because if you notice the gun on that's one certain character's carrying that type of gun. And you'll be thinking, where's the snake come into it? Well, yes. You have to see the movie really, you know, to find out. Because it's very interesting what happens to our villain, you know, Oliver Reed, you know. Yeah. So, everything kicks off, explosions are going off, and
yeah, that's right, that cover did confuse me with the snake in it.
so as you know, he's sneaking about, and all of a sudden, he said to these women practically, you know, if they mess up, he'll kill them if they fail and all that lot. And lucky enough, it's him what gets caught out, and he goes all trigger happy and starts shooting them with his great big Rambo gun and making all that noise. But not everybody wakes up until the first explosion happens.
You can see where the Rockstar Games got the idea, where you got the weapon wheel where you can get your weapons out, because all of a sudden that great big machine gun came out of nowhere, and that hadn't been cut. That's how it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it reminded me of GTA actually. Yeah, you're right.
So the helicopters turned up, but there's a load of rebel fighters and all that lot. I mean, this is the bit where spoiler, the title of the movie actually gives you away. Hired to kill. He is actually there to hire to kill the revolution of the guy. Just let me save the country. And he's been hired to do it. Not much of a plot twist. I mean, it gives it away with the title. But there's great scenes where there's a woman throwing grenades, and if you pay attention how far the grenade hits the wall, and you think bleeding it, but and we're all sleeping. That lady's managed to go around leaving explosives all over the place. So when the helicopter comes, they're holding everybody back. There's a guy in the tower, and obviously the picture of prison throws a grenade up and manages to get the guy. Good stunt. But there is a fortunate accident what happened in this movie. The actual helicopter, and there was a stuntman actually killed, and the helicopter actually crashed. So it's mentioned on the Blu-ray, but I ain't got the Blu-ray. I've got it on DVD, so there's no special features on it at all. Just the actual factual of trailer on it. That's it. But yeah.
You're definitely well out of date owning DVDs. How old are you?
So the helicopter's pinning everybody down and nobody can't get away with it. But then the helicopter decides to more or less land, and everybody gets off except the pilot. But then the pilot decides later on to undo his seatbelt and hover. Is he going to get out? But it doesn't matter. You know, Ryan, our hero, goes sneaking underneath the helicopter, grabs the guy, throws him out, and then manages to pull the helicopter down because it's in hover mode, and climbs in it and flies off. And our mute woman what sees the pilot climbing back on the helicopter, and she shouts out, "Ryan!" And he hears it, and he's like, "Oh no, there's a guy on the helicopter, what do I do?" I get a gun out and shoot at him. But he don't shoot at him, he just shoots twice, and the guy, I don't know, it's a stunt guy, and you see him jump off, and you know, but first I thought he shot him in the face, but obviously he won't be flopping his hands, you know, trying to land in water. So, okay, I'll go for that. So, as I mentioned about Oliver Reed and the cover, and I am not going to mention what happens to that character, but I will spoil it for our other character. Yes, because we all know that the country gets saved, and they turn up right end of the movie with our character, yes, you know, Mr. George.
Better be that way, because if you screw up, no matter what kind of bind you get me into, I'll get out.
What's his name?
And fancy security guards or not, I'll pay you a little visit.
Not to worry, Mr. Ryan. With any luck, you'll be back for my birthday, and we'll celebrate your success. And you'll collect the rest of your money. So just be good. And Mr. Ryan, do be careful.
So it comes to the end of the movie. George Kennedy mentioned briefly about, you know, you'll be here maybe for my birthday party. Well, next thing we hear him coming into a room, and it's dark, it's like a surprise party. It's all them, and they're like, "Ah, happy birthday." And then you'll see this bit with him. Then the movie ends. So that is it. So, not very good at explaining it, really. Well, there's some very terrible sexist, you know, yeah, it's, you know, I mean, maybe Oliver Reed had a bit of influence, like I say, maybe, and maybe that's why.
So, a lot of people say in the 70s that Oliver Reed was quite popular, even he was like being sexism and on them chat shows, but you know, him crashing his own Rolls Royce in his place and doing that, he would have been a maybe interesting presenter on the Top Gear, and he could have been there before Clarkson or something.
Don't be silly. Anyhow, imagine now, we haven't been coming out with good advice, but you know, the Land Rover Defender, it is really a complete different vehicle now, isn't it? You can't imagine Trevor Phillips driving one now, because it's like a modern day Range Rover, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but there is some interesting facts in Hired to Kill, because it does have a mute person. That's what you like to have on your online play. They don't talk. And the weapon wheel, when the guy pulls weapons out, well, no explanation, you know. Well, yeah, that's right. Well, I tried, you know. It may be a film what might give inspiration for Rockstar's games to actually maybe get ideas. Well, technically, we're just making it up, so it's a theory. So, on that, we might as well leave it on that Hired to Kill.
Can't leave it like that. That's the title of the movie.
Well, what? Will you come out with something better then?
So, on that broken nose, it's time to end the show.
That was bloody worse.
Oh, shut up.